Hi, I'm Nixie, and today I'm going to be looking at Zuru mini brand books. So inside there are 40 plus iconic minis to collect, and the books have some real readable pages. However, before I open any of these, I really think we need a bookcase to be able to store them on. So in Hobbycraft, I've always liked these wooden shaped letters, but never known what I could really do with any of them. But I thought I could potentially turn this into a shelving unit. But then I had to consider which of my dolls would be the kind of person who would have a shelving unit in the shape of their initial. And of course there was only one choice. My doll, Rachel. So the first thing I need to do is plan where I want to put the shelves. So what I've done is cut out just some scrappy bits of foam board, which I can then sort of place to get a rough idea where the shelves are going to go. Okay, so I'm thinking something like this. So now we need to actually make the shelves out of wood. For that, I've got this balsa wood from Hobbycraft as well. And being quite a soft wood, it does mean you can cut it with a craft knife rather than having to saw it. So then we can get our shelves and we can always just sand down any rough edges. But whenever you're crafting, and particularly when you're using blades, always do be careful, a lot more careful than I was, because I did manage to cut myself, because, like I said, gotta be careful. So with the shelving wood, sort of cut along the edge, but I did also have to cut them down this way because it was a little bit thicker than the shelves were, but because that was the sort of, I guess, grain of the wood, it was easier to cut that way than it was that, but still being soft, it was pretty good anyway. Now at this stage I have two options. I either could glue these all in and then paint it all, because I don't want to leave it plain, but I kind of think I want to do a different background. So I've got this quite pretty pattern-like thin card, and I was thinking if I cut that in R shape, that could be the backing, and then we'll glue the shelves on top, or sorry, first we'll paint, then glue that on, then glue the shelves on. But let's cut the R out first. So if we just draw around the R first, and then cut it out, remembering to cut inside the lines because it does need to fit inside the R, then once it's painted we will be able to just slot it in. So this means we are actually now at the point where we need to start painting. So I've got this pale pink paint, which I think I will paint on the inside because it will match the pink background. And of course it has to be pink. This is Rachel. It was always going to be a pink bookcase. But for doing around the outside, I'm debating between one of these two. So I've got dark pink. This one's just plain. This one's got sort of like glittery shimmers. So I can't decide yet which. We will see what I go with. But let's get started on the inside first. So I'm not 100% sure how many coats this is going to take, but we will see. And I actually don't know why I'm painting there. That's what I'm going to be seeing. We need to paint the edges. There we go. Okay, so here is the R painted, so I'm just letting it dry now. Now I was going to go for the twinkly pink. However, I ended up using this, which is the same brand as the inside pink, because it just seemed to cover a lot better. Right, so while we are waiting for the paint to dry, let's open one of these capsules. Oh. Yay! So inside my first capsule, there are 4 bags and a collector's guide. Now I have a horrible suspicion this contains a shelving unit. Now I've seen other people opening these and it seemed the original batch, they just had books, whereas the later batches had books and then minus one of the books became a shelving unit, which means, well, I mean, we're making our own. So this isn't necessary and it means we get less books, which is a bit sad. Right, let's just open this up first to confirm my suspicions. And yes, it does appear to be a shelving unit. Now don't get me wrong, it's cute to have a shelving unit, but I wanted to make a bookcase, so therefore I wanted books. And here it is made up. I mean, it's got quite a cute sort of wood effect on either side. And I do believe these are stackable if you wanted to make a multi-level sort of bookcase, but yeah, like I said, I was kind of hoping just for more books. Right, so the first actual book we're getting is The Vampire Diaries. So this is quite a thin paperback on the inside. It does have very teeny tiny writing, but that first page is readable. The second page, however, is just blurry. It does say there's real readable pages, but that doesn't mean all the pages are readable. Right, next bag, and we have another thin book, Mad Libs. So this one's sort of flips like this. And so we've got front bit, can read that. All of it looks readable, but it just seems they've copied one page a lot. There we go, that is our second book. And then third and final book we get, ooh, feels like hardback. So we have a little bookmark in blue, and we have a hardback of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw. Not gonna lie, I think I prefer the hardback better. There's just something a bit more tactile about it. So here's the inside. And I definitely like that better. Although, so far we've only really got one more adult book, the rest have been kids, which maybe doesn't suit our shelf theme, but it's fine, we'll see what else we get. So let's just have a look at the collector's guide to see what we could get. We have a legendary Goosebumps book, an iconic Stranger Things book. These are the luxury books. Then we have the ultra rares, and I believe all three of those were in a Toy Mini brands, which I didn't get any of those, but I would like them because they look really nice. Then these are all the rare books. And then finally on to the common books. And here are the different bookmarks you can collect. A little magnifying glass, which is cute, I'd like that. And then the shelving unit. And these are our books so far from the first capsule. So now that the paint is completely dry, we need to glue in the background. So what I'm going to do is just put some tacky glue and just spread it all around. Okay, so now that's covered in glue, we can just carefully pop this on and press it down. So as you can see, there's a couple of places I cut a bit too deep, so it was like too big, so I was cutting a little bit more, still too big, cutting a little bit more, and then you get to the point where you've cut too much. But I'm hoping, because the pinks, like, they're both pale pinks, you're not going to notice too much. It's one to look a bit further away at. So the next thing is to now attach the shelves. So these are all painted as well. For the edges, I've gone just a little bit on the inside, just so hopefully if there's any sort of bits you can still see, they'll be painted. So it definitely would have been easier to glue shelves on first if we had only been painting it and not that. Because now I've got the worry, I can't really, if I glue the back and they sort of move a bit, the glue's going to go on the paper. So I'm only going to be able to glue the edges, I think. And I'm also feeling I might want to glue more sort of these bits, not the very end, just because again, I don't want to get glue on the paper because I think that's going to be most noticeable. If it smudges a bit on the wood, then I can just sort of touch over with some more paint. That's kind of my thought process here. Right, so I do have some wood glue, and I don't know if that's going to make any difference now it's painted, because it's not purely wood on wood, it's painted wood on wood. But I got this, might as well use it. So I'm just going to try and put just a small bit, because the shelves kind of stay in place anyway without, like, too much extra support. I think wood glue does dry clear as well, so hopefully. This is very nerve-wracking. Okay. Stay. Just hold that for a little bit, and that's our first shelf. And here are all the shelves now glued on. So I do need to wait for the glue to dry, but I think it wasn't too bad. So excess glue just wiped off quite easily. And I want to say this little tool was my friend. So when I was doing the background as well, I used that to sort of spread the glue. And I don't think I've really used one of these since I was at school, but very useful item for spreading glue. Right, while we're waiting to make sure the glue is definitely dry before we put anything on the shelves, let's open another one of these capsules. So first zipper, can we get it all the way? Let's do it carefully. Nice. And second zipper, come on. Oh, perfect. I think maybe that first capsule just had a bad one on top. So in this capsule we get another bookshelf. Then for the books we have, It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now this is good because this looks a bit more, well, less of a kiddie book. Then inside The second book we get is the BFG by Roald Dahl. And there's the readable page on the inside. It is a kid's book, but I mean, I grew up reading Roald Dahl, so I'm fine with that. And then the final packet contains... oh. Well, it's a different bookmark. It's purple and says Mini Brand's Books, but we've got another copy of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is interesting because it says it's ultra rare, but I've now got two from the first two capsules I've opened. I mean, I'd like, if we're getting ultra rare, one of these three, because those are nice, they're classics. You know what I'd really like is the Burn book, just because it's pink, and it would match our shelf so perfectly, but I've only got one capsule left, so we shall see. So now the wood glue's dried, I'm just going to do a few little touch-ups here and there, just so I can make it, I don't know, a bit more seamless. Okay, so I've done my touch-ups now, and I do think it's helped. I was just trying to smooth some of the transitions between the shelves and the edges. But that does mean we now need to let it dry once again, so we will open our last capsule. Right, let's see what the last items we are going to get for putting on my shelving unit. Oh, it wasn't a good one. Right, maybe the inside would be better. Okay, we're 3-3 on the insides. Right, and just notice I am a bit painty, but let's open it up. And we have another shelving unit. And for this one, I decided I would stack it on top of the previous one, which I do actually think is a nice touch that they've made them compatible like this so you can have a taller shelf. Essentially on one of them, you just don't put the top or the feet on. Okay, and our first book of the last capsule is Holiday Inn by James Howe. So another paperback, and I think by the looks of it, it is a children's book. It's got that sort of vibe about it. The sort of tagline is, not a great place to visit and you wouldn't want to live there. And next we get, oh, another Roald Dahl book, Matilda. So we've got the cute little Quentin Blake illustration. Make sure everything you do is so completely crazy it's unbelievable. And just the inside, those are the readable page, and then just the blurry pages. Okay, we've got two Roald Dahl, so at least we're getting a collection. And my final book, I think I'm probably going to need to get some more capsules really, because not many. We have, oh, another hardback. Maybe it's you get two paperbacks and one hardback. So we've got a new bookmark, which is sort of a little map, which is pretty cool. I like that. And then the hardback is Dogman by Dave, is that Pilkey? And there's the back cover. Okay, so let's just look inside and, oh, okay, it's like a comic. But we then are blank, which is a bit sad. I guess they didn't think they could really recreate comic book pages. I wonder, couldn't they have just like reprinted the same thing on all the pages? You know, like they did with the Mad Libs, and it's just the same thing on each page? Oh well. So I guess not the worst. 3 capsules and only 2 that were duplicated. It is mainly kids' books though, so maybe not the most appropriate to be on Rachel's shelf, but it's fine, we're going to put them on there, and as we get more books, we can sort of swap them out. So whilst the paint's still drying, I thought let's just put these into a little room scenario so we can sort of see them compared to a Barbie. So size-wise, this is the book next to a Barbie, and maybe they're a touch big, but I mean, books come in all sizes, so I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. And in her hands, it looks great for reading. And I must admit, the shelves are pretty cute. They are certainly something to use in your dollhouse. So I'm not sorry I got them. I just would have liked a bit more books because I was making my own shelving unit. But finally, here it is, our dried shelving unit. I'm not gonna lie, the books are a little bit big, but they look okay if you want to do them a bit more sideways so you can see the covers. And there's always room for putting other things on. Like I said, I've kind of wanted to do this our shelving unit for a while. It just seemed to fit well with doing books at the same time, but you can always put these mini-verse candles as decorations. Or mini brands, those would work. Essentially, we do have options of items that will fit on the shelf. Okay, so maybe the shelving unit is a little bit narrow for the books, but that doesn't mean you can't fill it, and I think it looks pretty good. I've been waiting for ages for a reason to do something with one of those wooden letters from Hobbycraft, so I'm pleased to have finally got an excuse to make something, and I do think it looks alright. I think Rachel is going to be very pleased that we've now got a nice personalised bit of furniture for her. So overall, I do think this was a success. Now, I did think I owned a miniature spirit level, which would have helped putting on the shelves, because I do think this one is just slightly wonky, but we're going to ignore that. But do let me know if you thought this was a good idea for a shelving unit. If you like this video in general, please do hit thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos, do subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!